Hey there, friends. Double AP bringing you another episode of Yenzology, the study of everything Pittsburgh. And it's Christmas time, and you're freaking out because you don't have that gift for that special Yenzer in your life. Well, stay tuned. You ain't going to want to miss this episode. We're going to give you some great ideas. Wendell August Forge just celebrated 100 years, making it the largest and the oldest active forge in the United States. And while we give you a guided tour of the beautiful new gift shop conveniently located off of I 79 north of Pittsburgh at the Grove City Outlets, we're also going to take you through the history of the forge. There was a gentleman by the name of Wendell August who lived in Brockway, Pennsylvania, in between Punxsutawney and the Allegheny Forest. And he owned and operated several coal mines. And he had his own personal blacksmith by the name of Tony Bazzani. And one day he went to Bazzani and said, "Hey, I cannot find door latches to match the ones that I have. Can you help me out?" Bazzani, his blacksmith, was like, "Yeah, no problem." And he whipped up some door latches, and that is how the forge started. And in 1930, Bazzani and Wendell August, they both won a contracted bid to build new gates for the newly built research lab in New Kensington, PA, owned and operated by Alcoa. That's right, the Aluminum Company of America, outside of Pittsburgh. And that is what started the beautiful relationship between Alcoa, the Aluminum Company of America, and Wendell August, who forged aluminum. And then Alcoa liked his artwork so much that they commissioned other pieces of art. And they're like, "Hey, Wendell, can you help us with our elevator doors and make them really beautiful?" And then Edgar Kaufman, who owned all the Pittsburgh department stores in the Pittsburgh area, caught wind of all this artistry and artwork and hey, Wendell, how about you making me stuff for my Kaufman's department stores? And so Wendell started making beautiful aluminum trays. And then another beautiful business partnership blossomed. So, one main reason the forge moved from Brockway to Grove City in 1930 were banks. Wendell was commissioned to do a lot of the wrought iron decorative work inside the brick and mortar buildings. Before there were Mac machines, before there was digital banking, you went to the bank, and banks were really beautiful back in the day. So Wendell August Forge did the railings that you would walk through to get to the teller station, and there would be wrought iron decorative pieces at the teller station window called widgets. And then also there were check cashing stations where Wendell built furniture and fixtures and beautiful pieces of artwork. Then in 1937, they were commissioned to do cathedrals and cruise ships and restaurants where they did light fixtures and all sorts of decorative, beautiful pieces of art. So, historically, through the years, there have been pieces that have stood out that deserve honorable mentions. Number one would be Wendell August has this dogwood flower pattern, and I would also include the apple blossom, and that's a classic trademark of Wendell August. Number two would be the Hindenburg, where they made this aluminum cigar or cigarette ashtray that held this glass zeppelin that actually had diesel fuel from the Hindenburg the year before it blew up in the sky. The number three would be the Rockefellers commissioned some pull ties, and you went to go swim at the Rockefeller swimming pool. You don't know where to hang your terrible tie. You'd hang it on one of these turtle towel stands. And then I would say the most honorable mention goes to Connie. He was president's wife in 1979. She thought up the brainchild behind the Christmas ornament. And in 1980, the Christmas ornaments blew up. And Yinzers have been collecting these Christmas ornaments for decades. They come out with a different new Christmas ornament every year. And it's just fantastic. So, this little forge that started in 1923 handcrafted its way through the Hunts family and the Rockefellers and banks and ships and restaurants. And then Wendell, not wasting any material, took all the little pieces of scrap and started making beautiful little gifts for all of the CEO wives. Word got around into the Kaufman's department stores, and then eventually making its way to one more partnership with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And we take you to a day, April 8th, 2010, 7:30 p.m. The Penguins versus the New York Islanders. It is the last game to be played at the Mellon Arena. The final regular season game before they tear the Igloo down. And the Penguins turn to Wendell August Forge and they say, hey, could you forge us a replica of the ticket to commemorate and remember this final game? And they said yes. Not long after that agreement was made, a tragic fire destroyed the forge. No one was hurt, and the firemen managed to save thousands of the original die casts made from steel and iron. If it weren't for the dedicated employees and the Pittsburgh Penguins to believe in each other, the forge would not have survived. Not only that did they survive, but Wendell August Forge went on to purchase the metal roof from the Civic Arena when they tore it down, and they used that metal to make Christmas ornaments. All the proceeds from those ornaments went directly to the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation youth-oriented community programs. So no matter what it is, maybe it's a special event, maybe it's an award ceremony, celebration of sorts, an anniversary, or a milestone, or sports memorabilia, maybe a baby being born. Regardless of the occasion, it's really difficult and rare to find something that hasn't been mass-produced or outsourced from another country. We're talking about something that's handcrafted and passed down, a tradition that's been passed down generation after generation and made in the USA. Now, granted, there may be a pneumatic hammer, maybe a flexible shaft Dremel, or something called they call it a pantograph machine cutter, or an engraver that will engrave things. But listen, there's also an artist with a hammer and a chisel, a master die cutter. And so yes, it's hammered and handcrafted. It's not pressed, and it's a mirrored image that was made by an artist, and that is special. And sometimes you have the collaboration of two artists coming together, like the forge and the photographer by the name of J.P. DeRoll. This just happened to be damaged and discounted on the floor, so I could show you the metal on the back side of his photography. His photographs are also used on Christmas ornaments and also on the plate trays, and they are beautiful displays of the Pittsburgh city. We'll put his link down in the description below. Now, before we move into my Wendell August private collection, we've got to talk about a few of the novelty Pittsburgh Penguin items that are designed for uniqueness and greatness. The first one being when a player reaches 500 goals. They have scored 500 goals. We saw this earlier in the video, this hockey puck right there. This thing is a solid paperweight. It's solid metal, and Malkin's is available right now. You can no longer get Sids. And the next one is when a player has reached 1,000 games. They've played 1,000 games. Wendell will ask for and receive an actual wooden hockey stick from the player, and they'll wrap that baby up in metal, and then they'll present it to the player with engraved, highlights of their career and stats. And then last but not least is the skate knives. I've been looking for a skate knife. They take old hockey skates, and Wendell used to make steak knives and cutting knives out of the actual players' hockey skates. So those are just some of the unique items that are associated with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now we wanted to provide you an up-close look at some pieces that we've collected over the years. This one was passed down to us probably from the 1970s or 1980s, purchased for $28.50. That's the nice thing about Wendell August Forge. You'll notice they don't gouge you. You're getting artwork at a reasonable price, a really reasonable, affordable. You're like, wow, this is all it is, and this is real nice. And then real excited to show you their brand new nativity set. And it was kind of funny. They were out of stock for a lot of the pieces, and it's a 10-piece set. And I didn't realize, in addition to the 10 pieces, they made additional animals. So if you get the 10-piece set and the additional animals, and it turns into a 15-piece set. And here is Joe, good old Joseph, with Mary, and try to show you some of the details, some of the finer artistic pieces. There's the baby Jesus, and then we have the donkey, and then we have the camel that's standing, and then the cattle that is reposed, and the angel, and some lammies with the hanging out with the angel, and the sitting camel. And then you got some wise men and shepherds with the shepherd hook and the little baby lamb. And this here is a piece that was borrowed. Jimmy Two Time let us borrow this for the video. He received this as a wedding gift. He was one of the men in the wedding party, and this was a wedding party gift of the city of Pittsburgh, a little container, and it's engraved. And look at the hammer work on the edges. Those are real hammer marks on the edges. And now we're moving on to our collection of Christmas ornaments, and that they just kind of speak for themselves with a little brochure of this year's 2024. And then this is a real special piece. My sister gave this to me. It's a bookmark, and it's a Christmas bookmark with the creche, that's Latin for crib, then the Christmas star, and then the cross on the top and the bottom, and a beautiful bookmark that I cherish. And I sometimes lose in a book. I have so many books, and I'm like, where is my bookmark? What book did I leave it in? Here's some other bookmarks. They have contracted with the NFL, and kind of like the Zippo lighters. Go check out our video of Zippo lighters. If you see something you like, you need to grab it, because you don't know how long it will last. They'll either retire the piece, they'll just sell out of them, and they won't make any more. And you don't know when they'll go into the vault. You don't know if they'll ever bring pieces back. And once they're sold out, it may be out forever. So if you really like a piece, you can't sit on it. You can't wait on it. You be like, I got to get this, and I got to get it now. That's why I was really adamant about getting all the pieces for the nativity, because you just don't know how long they'll be in production. These pieces will, again, go into the cast die, the iron and steel die vault. And this is the 2024 catalog, and we'll also put the link down there for their website, just to give you some ideas of of why you might purchase something for maybe a retirement. This is one for babies being born. You can have the engraving of the baby's weight and the date and time. And what a great memory to hang on your tree. And a Yinzer Christmas tree is not complete without a Heinz pickle. Or, I gotta get me one of those. And so here's some not charcuterie boards or anti-pasta boards, where they incorporate some aluminum onto the wood for your cheeses and your salami, your prosciutto. Now we want to leave you with one last point that you'll want to take notice of. When you buy a piece from Wendell August, back in the day, there were actually 3 hand stamps on your piece. There was the die cutter, the Craftsman logo, and then the company logo. But today, the pieces just have 2 hand stamps, and they're usually on the back. Back in the day, the third one was on the front, but you'll notice 2 in the back. This is Light of Life, and you'll notice the Wendell August logo. And then look at the little artist has a tiny little signature. That's to let you know what artist made that piece. Now, sometimes you can recognize the Craftsman logo as like a little fireman hat or a cross or an electric guitar, or sometimes they're just random shapes. But this artist here, he did the new piece of the Nativity in 2024, and the same artist did this Christmas ornament in 2012. So that artist has been around the forge for a long time. And so it's pretty neat that you can locate and find some information on your individual unique piece. And here's another. This is sometimes you'll find an additional stamp to show that this is a special edition, and this is showing you that this is part of the Civic Arena authentic metal from the roof. And so check it out. Next time you get a piece from Wendell August, be sure to check out the little stamps, the hand stamps. Again, the die cutter Craftsman logo and then the company logo. So we'll end this video with a Christmas ornament, one of my favorites. It's the skyline of the Pittsburgh skyline, including the Civic Arena. And I really like how they incorporated the outside is the matches the scaffolding, or the retractable roof was held by that metal bracing, and they incorporated that around the border. And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us. Oh, this artist, that's the Yellowstone, the Yellowstone logo. And we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and share, leave a comment. Tell us about your favorite Wendell August pieces of ornaments and art. Until next time, I'm Double AP and I'm out.